My name is Stella Okosiboji, and I work with Nigerian Women in Public Relations as the Programs and Membership Executive. The
Mm.
Prayer Woman of the Month is a feature to spotlight women that are doing great work in public relations, and it also serves as a resource for younger women that are coming up in public relations. They can look back to these resources, get perspective, get direction, and just be better at doing public relations and communications. So that is one of the reasons to platform the works of women in public relations in Nigeria and in diaspora. So that is what the PR Woman of the Month is about. And we are very opportune and we are very privileged to have you, Victoria Uwadoka, join us today for this episode of PR Woman of the Month. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with us. I know that you're very busy. But out of your busy schedule, you decided to honor us with your time, and we're really grateful.
Thank you very much, Stella. I am truly honored to be a part of the PR Woman of the Month. I've followed Nigerian women in PR, and I think it's a brave move, and I think that it's come at an opportune moment. And I've learned from some of the women that have been featured as well. So really great pleasure for me to be a part of it. So thank you for having me.
Victoria is a highly accomplished professional in public relations, public affairs, and sustainability. With extensive experience in diverse industries such as logistics, entertainment, beauty, healthcare, Nollywood, ICT, and food and beverages. Her passion lies in building connections and creating opportunities for individuals and communities to reach their full potential. She leverages her insights gained from working with various businesses, decision makers, influencers, and government to assist organizations in driving both business and social impact through effective communications and relationship management strategies. Victoria has demonstrated her exceptional leadership skills by serving as the chairman of the Committee of Corporate Communications and Public Affairs Experts of Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, since 2021. She has also led the planning committee for the Lagos PR Industry Gala and Awards, LAPRIGA, from 2021 to 2023. She has also co-chaired NECA's Employers Summit Planning Committee from 2022 to 2024. She holds valuable positions as a member of the steering board for the Nigerian National Plastic Action Partnership and the Technical Committee for Food and Beverage Recycling Alliance. She actively contributes to the community as a celebrity special marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps. Her unwavering dedication to the field of public relations, her commitment to fostering connections, creating opportunities, and championing Africa's potentials has earned her accolades. She was notably recognized on the esteemed GLG PR Power List for both 2023 and 2024. She also achieved the esteemed position of second runner-up for Africa's Sustainability Practitioner of the Year at the Sarah CSR Awards and was also included in the list of 60 industry women. Furthermore, she was named one of the 5 Wonder Women in the Spark NG Women's Day commemorative edition in March 2020. As a strong advocate for Africa's potential, Victoria actively promotes positive action to accelerate equitable development on the continent. She firmly believes that African communicators have a responsibility to tell the stories authentically and reflect the realities, challenges, and opportunities of the continent. In our words, it is our duty to tell the true African story. Once again, Victoria, we are very privileged to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you again, Stella.
As I was reading your profile, I was like, it's a lot. Your experience, your dedication, and your contribution is really, really what admiring. So I would say, well done, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So we just get right to it. We just want to know, I saw that you studied French for your first degree. So we want to know, how did you get into public relations? Was it something you stumbled upon or something you just had the passion for from a very young age?
All right. Merci beaucoup, I'll say. And that's in French,
Merci.
but thank you. Okay, yes. So the first degree I studied was in French civilization and culture. Actually, growing up, I wanted to be a broadcaster, and I would watch the broadcasters on TV, and that's what I really wanted to do. But I was moved in other directions, including medicine, including law, and all of that. But at the end of the day, I think I followed my passion for languages and studied the French civilization and culture because I thought it was cool to speak French and to learn that language. I think that the idea of it for me at that time was, okay, this is something that I really love to do. Let me do it first, and then I'll go back into journalism or one of those practices. But when I left school, and I started my career. I started my career in the logistics industry, working for IAS, then who had a partnership with Federal Express, and then ended up becoming the international operations manager. And doing that job, it was cool to be a manager at such a young age, but I knew that this wasn't what was exciting for me. This is not what I wanted to do. And so when the opportunity came to work as a PR and events manager, then I think for IAS, for IKB Industries, I jumped on it. And then doing the job, I discovered what PR was really. It was about engaging people. It was about drafting stories. It was about building connections. And this is something that I thought that came very naturally to me. But I also knew that I needed to gain some more understanding of what public relations really was. I needed to learn the tactics, I needed to learn the art and the science of it. And so I went to study public relations. I remember then I went to the Nigerian Institute of Journalism in Ogba here in Lagos, and there was this program, a certification program in public relations, and that's where I really truly discovered what it was, and I was like, aha, this is what I've been looking for. I wanted to be a communicator. I love communicating with people. I love people genuinely. I want to find out more about people. I want to build connections. I want to help people achieve. I want to help people portray themselves in the best light. And so I had found my calling really as a public relations practitioner. So after that, as it would happen with young people building careers, and I'll come to talk about young people building careers. So as it would happen, sometimes you're pulled in other directions, other opportunities show up. And because of some pressures, whether they're economic or family or whatever, you're moved in other directions from where you really want to go. For me, it was pretty much economic because I really needed to make more money. I needed to provide for my family. I needed to do certain things, and so I was pulled in other directions. I went to do so many other stuff apart from public relations, but my heart always stayed with it. And when I could, I was very quick to go agency side and work in public relations. And I think that those were the best days of my life, working in public relations, helping organizations, helping to build connections between companies, the B2B, the B2C, and also cross marketing, building events together. I think those were the best days of my life. And working in agency helped me to discover more about what public relations was. Because sometimes I think people think public relations, just craft a story, just go and put something in the media, just write a press release. That's not what it is. It's about strategic thinking. It's about understanding the business. It's about building a whole strategy around someone's persona, someone's personality. And that someone could be an organization or a person. You help that person come into their own. You're not crafting a new persona. You're helping people discover themselves, discover their potential, discover their communities, and learn how to connect with those communities. Because everybody has a language. I know in relationships we talk about love languages, but it also exists in business. There is a language. There is a love language. There is to build a business that is beyond what you could imagine, or to build a career, a personal career as a professional that is beyond what you could imagine because you're able to make those connections. So that's what I've loved doing, and that's what PR has been. And maybe that gives an overview of where I've been and what my career has been like. If you look in my LinkedIn, you'll find that most of it was in marketing, operations, and all of that, and in Nollywood, and in TV, in production, and all of that. What I've found is that all those experiences come to enhance the way I communicate, the way I help my organization communicate, because I've built an understanding of different communities, different people, different businesses, and those are the building blocks of who I am as a public relations professional, and a very proud public relations professional at that. So I'll stop here for now.
Yes, Ma. We can hear it from your voice, the passion behind it. And you even brought the love language part into it. And yes, also talking about the agency side, it's also
Mhm.
important for professionals to actually work in an agency to know how different agencies work, different industries work. I think it will also help them move faster in their career and understand every aspect of public relations. And public relations isn't just about writing and putting out press releases.
Mm-mm.
It's, like you said correctly, more about strategic thinking, creating and elevating a brand's perception and persona, not you creating a new one. So thank you so much. And we would also like to know some strategies you worked on over the course of your career.
I think I've had to work with on different projects, and each project or each company, each organization has a different set of peculiarities. So the strategies are not one cap fits all. That's the first thing that you need to discover in public relations. So in public relations, there are the tactics, right? There are the tools, there are the tactics, but you must adapt them to each organization. So if you ask me what specific strategies have I worked on, maybe I'll talk about different strategies for different organizations. I won't go too far back. I'll think about working at Microsoft, and driving the image and perception agenda for the organizations. Microsoft is a software development company. Software, you don't see it, you can't touch it, but you can use it, and you see it working on your systems, powering your system from under the operating system, the software, and all of that. And the important thing is to know that to be a public relations, what I call it, professional for Microsoft, working in-house, the PR manager or the PR director for Microsoft, you're talking about an intangible, so you must find a way to help people relate with it. So we had to build our story around the benefits of the software, the output of the software, the whole experience, And one particular one I'll remember is when the software went from being on site, being housed on site in the database on site and all of that, and everything went into the cloud, right? And we started to talk about software as a service, all of that. So it became even more intangible, because before you could see your data was stored on site, your software was stored on site, right? And then now it's gone into the cloud. And so you have to store your software on in the cloud and use it from the cloud. So what did that mean? We can't see anything on ground. Are you sure you're selling us anything? Okay, well, so we had to craft a strategy around engaging people, helping them understand what this software as a service was all about. Yes, you still get the same services. You don't need to pay for anything on the ground. We've built a center out there in Europe or in somewhere in Africa, and you have the same software. You can use it on your systems and all of that. And then the other was, working with governments and, really trying to talk about smart cities, smart government. What we found that most governments are leery of, software, something that is intangible, the internet and all of that, really try to build an understanding. So our strategy was about building experiences, bringing them in to what we call the experience centers, to really see what it was like, to really understand it, show them the images, get them to visit the data centers out where they are, see where it is, see where it's stored. But this is how you use it. It doesn't have to be on site and all of that. So our strategy was experiential, help them to experience it, because sometimes you need to understand that as a PR person, you can't do everything. So you might not be the person driving the experiential experience on the ground. You might not be the person activating that experience, but you need to know where to take your customers to, or your clients to, or your principals to, so they can experience what you're talking about. I think that it also has to do with so many other intangibles, because when you're selling shoes, bags, something I can feel, I can touch, I can look at it, so I can talk about it, I can show you the picture of it. But how do I show you the picture of the software? So we have to build a strategy around the experiences there. The other one I want to talk about, working for Nestlé Nigeria. I came to the organization and I realized that one thing I had to do was to get the buy-in of my stakeholders. That's the first stakeholders, are your internal stakeholders. And I built a whole strategy around the internal stakeholders, the most important customers, the most important clients for me are my internal clients. All right. And so I built a strategy around engaging internally, helping us to understand our values, our culture, our mission internally, and speak the same language. And then build a strategy around empowering our people to go with me. So we're all communications officers. We're all the owners of the communication. It's not the corporate communications guys that own it. It is all of us. It's our story. And I'm helping us to harness it. I'm helping us to craft it. I'm helping us to understand it. But we all own it and we're all going to drive it together. So I think that, for me, those are the things that stand out when it comes to building strategies. Just understanding that each consumer, each customer, each client, each principal is unique in themselves, and you must design a strategy leveraging the tactics, leveraging the science of public relations, leveraging the art of public relations, being creative in your thinking, not staying in a box, in a fixed box. It has to be this way or that way. And also understanding the trends, new technologies, new sciences, new discoveries, and leveraging those to power your strategic planning for your client. I mean, with the advent of AI, right now, what does it bring you? It brings you speed. It brings you speed to research. It brings you speed to craft. It brings you speed to plan. But understanding that it's not all good by itself, you still need to understand your client. You need to understand what their needs are. You need to understand their audiences. You need to understand their business goals. You need to understand who they are and their voices, and then give the right commands or the right orders to AI to be able to craft a befitting strategy or a befitting messaging system, a befitting communications agenda for your customers, or for your clients or principals. Those are the things that I've learned, along the way in PR.
Oh wow! As you were talking, there was so much knowledge, because as you were talking about software as a service, that SaaS, I was really wow. So you had
Yes.
to learn. I can imagine you had to learn everything, the terms, the meaning, the abbreviations, and all of that.
Yeah.
And I would say that you've really done well, because working for a tech company that cannot see this product, it takes a lot of effort for people to be able to experience it. And me, I've attended an event whereby a tech company, they brought this Google on, they brought the Google set on
Google
site.
Lens, yes.
Yeah, so you could see it and you could view anything, you could play, interact with the environment. So I would say that your level of experience, and yes, again, as public relations professionals, if we're working in any industry, we must also learn the terms, be involved in the industry. So thank you so much for sharing. We want to know, you talked about that as a public relations professional, you can't do everything by yourself, especially when you're working with a diverse team. So we want to know, how do you collaborate with other teams or departments within your organization to align your PR strategy to achieve the broader business goals?
Mm. Very interesting question. And that's, I think that's the crux of the matter, collaboration. Collaboration is the new competition, as they say, if we want to talk about the cliches that are flying around right now. But in reality, collaboration is everything, right? So if you're talking about a PR plan, what is a PR plan? What is a public relations plan? What is a public relations plan without the products plan? What is a public relations plan without the business goals and agenda? What is a PR plan without the focus areas for the teams? What is a PR plan without the people plan? What are you communicating? Because what you're doing with public relations is building those connections, connecting the dots. My boss keeps telling me, oh, you know what? You're the engine that brings us all together. You're the glue that keeps us all together. And I love that because it's an understanding of the fact that as a public relations person, think about that name, public and relationships, public, the different publics, right? So if you're not collaborating, you might not succeed as a public relations person because the truth that you're telling comes from the internal customers that you work with. And I want to use my company, Nestlé Nigeria, as an example. So within Nestlé, we have the different businesses. We produce in Nigeria and market several iconic brands, including Maggi, including Milo, including Golden Morn, which was proudly made in Nigeria for Nigeria and is now going out of Nigeria. We have the Nescafe, we have the Nestle Pure Life. These are businesses. Each business has a business goal. And as we say in Nestle, and we don't just say it, it is the truth. Our brands are brands with purpose. So it's not just about producing and selling, it's about making social impact. And so what's my role as a communications person is to understand what is the impact area of this particular brand and how does it fit into Nestle's overall priority, overall commitment, overall vision and mission. And so I'm telling a one Nestle story, which tells you as a consumer the why of this product. I'm not just talking about the product, I'm just talking about the quality of the product, which is number one. So I tell you it is quality. Why? Because we are interested in people, because this is our purpose at Nestle, to enhance quality of life for everyone. And that is why it's important. And how we enhancing, how is each brand enhancing it? So imagine that I sit in my corporate comms seat and I do not interact with any of the brands and I'm just telling stories. What story am I telling? Is it authentic? Is it real? Does it resonate? Does it capture the essence of each brand? So you must collaborate internally. You must collaborate with marketing. Somebody was asking me the other day, but it's advertising, it's just public relations. You're just building the brand. I said, no, there is a difference. We're all part of the marketing mix. But you must understand the difference and you must understand the areas of collaboration. If I've not built the strategy, what are you marketing as a marketing person? What is the key message that is included in every advert that you produce? What is it in it that makes anyone who looks at it say, oh, okay, this is Nestle. This is something I can depend on. This is quality I can trust. So we must all work together. Collaboration is very, very critical. If you're not collaborating, your messages are dissonant and you're not going to be able to engage your audiences. And imagine that there's a crisis and, we cannot say God forbid, right? Because crisis will and may come. So you must plan ahead for it. And planning ahead for it includes collaboration, not just with marketing, not just with the brands, but now you're going to have to collaborate with legal. You're going to have to collaborate with quality assurance. You're going to collaborate with regulatory. You're going to collaborate with the factories who produce the goods. You're going to collaborate with the farmers who produce the grains that go into the products, because the quality of the grain will impact on the quality of the product. So you see, you must collaborate. Without a collaborative style of engagement, you will never succeed as a PR person. Even if you're not working in an organization and you are a public relations practitioner in the environment, you must know the environment. How do you get to know the environment? You must know what businesses are doing and what they're going through. You must know the systems. You must know the policies that govern. You must know the politics, because all this is what adds value and adds depth to the communication that you put out there. To understand who the key stakeholders are, you must understand the environment. And the only way you can do that is by collaborating. And when you've mapped your stakeholders and you know who they are and you know what their goals are and their objectives are, and you see where the convergence happens, you must engage. You must work together with others. So collaboration is one of the key superpowers of the public relations practitioner.
Collaboration is the key superpower of a public relations professional. I love that statement. So thank you so much for sharing. We also want to know, as a female practitioner, what do you think is the most challenging part of working in public relations and communications?
being female and being a public relations practitioner is an advantage. It's not a disadvantage. I know that the industry is male dominated, but I think that it's evolving, because if I look at 10 years before, if I look at 15 years before, and I look at today, I see more women led agencies out there. They might not be as big as those who were there 20 years ago, but remember that there's time, and time builds, right? And these male-led agencies have been here for a long time, and they've done good work, and they keep doing good work. But the female-led agencies are coming up. They're coming. If we talk about the power of intuition, some people say that women are more intuitive, and intuition is something I find that is a very strong element in public relations. You sense things. You can read a room when you come into it. Some people say that women do that better. It's arguable. We can look at the data around that, but I don't think that being female is a disadvantage. I think that being female is an advantage, is a strength. We are unique in our person as a female. We don't have to become the men to be successful in public relations. You can bring your attributes, your female attributes, whatever those are. You can channel your inner female, just like as the men can channel their inner men. And I think that each of us has to have an understanding of ourselves, our personalities, and bring that personality to bear on how we do public relations. We do not have to practice public relations as Mr. A or Miss B even. We all have our uniqueness and our unique approaches. Some of us have a quiet strength. Some of us engage with people easily. Some of us have the amazing networks. Some of us are professional when it comes to editorial expertise. Some of us are creative thinkers. Some of us are planners. Some of us are more strategic in our approach. Some of us are more intuitive in our approach. Some of us are more instinctive, more what's that word I'm looking for? I'll find the word later. So we have our unique ways of practicing public relations, and we must bring it. And some would say, okay, being a female practitioner is male dominated, but the men are actually supportive. That's what I've found, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all humans before we're female or male. We're all human beings. So some people, whether they're male or female, will not be supportive, but some people are supportive whether they're male or female. So being male or female does not have too much to do with whether you succeed as a PR practitioner or you fail as a PR practitioner. What will make the difference is, one, do you understand what public relations is? Because sometimes when I speak to people, they don't really understand what public relations is. Some think it's sales, some think it's, they will tell you anything but public relations, right? You must build an understanding. You must train yourself. You must read. You must go study. You can volunteer, work in an agency, understand what PR is. That's number one. Two, understand the business of public relations. So male or female, we have a gap when it comes to the business of public relations because we're leaving so much money on the table because we do not understand the business of public relations. We need to understand the business of public relations. So the females out there, the males out there, we need to understand the business of public relations and practice the business of public relations. Run our agencies as businesses. Offer our services as businesses, as professionals, as consultants that we are. And ask for the value of what we bring to the table. So honestly, I think that being female is an advantage for me. Practicing public relations, I bring the whole essence of my being to practice public relations, the engagement with people, the understanding, the asking the right questions, the digging deeper than the surface, the instincts, the sensing of my client and what they need and where they're coming from, the sensing of the room when I come in. The young women in PR understand that advantage and play to your strengths. Don't try to take on the strengths of others. Play to your strengths. But first of all, learn yourself, understand yourself, and then play to those strengths that you find as you look deeper into who you are.
That being a woman is a strength, especially in public relations. Thank you so much for sharing that. So we know that public relations is ever changing, it's a dynamic profession. How do you stay updated with latest industry trends and best practices in public relations?
I am continuously learning. Continuously, I'm learning. I'm taking courses. I'm attending events and taking notes. I'm volunteering and learning from others. I have a network. I stay in the network and I learn from everyone in my network. Whether you started public relations today or you've been practicing it for 60 years, I'm interested in what you know. I'm interested in learning from you. So I'm continuously learning. That's how I stay abreast of what's going on in public relations. I learn from news. I go to websites. I research. And I also learn by doing. I also learn by doing. So this is what I do: continuous learning, continuous improvement. That is how I stay top of the game when it comes to public relations.
All right, thank you. Continuous learning, and
Mhm,
learning is important, but also doing so the knowledge
mhm,
sticks. Yeah, thank you so much.
mhm.
So someone is watching that. I love what Victoria does, and I would like to be like Victoria in the next 5 to 10 years. So, what advice would you give to that young PR practitioner who hopes to climb the PR ladder?
Be sure that public relations is what you want to do. It's not a fallout of an accident, or you just always it looks cool. Understand what it is and be sure that that's what you want to do. The second thing, learn continuously, train yourself. Learn, go take a course, go join a program, learn. There are many free programs that you can learn from, and there are some that are subsidized that you can learn from. Study public relations, understand what it is. Three, have okay, well, you have to learn it, right? But practice the skills that you've learned, right? You must learn how to engage with people. So your emotional intelligence needs to be good. So you can teach yourself emotional intelligence, learn what emotional intelligence means, because you need to understand behavioral psychology. That's something that you need to understand. And that comes from observing people, understanding people, and being empathetic, right? I'm not saying sympathetic, being empathetic. That's very important. Understand how to engage with people, because public relations is not one of those things that you stay in one room in the back corner and you're practicing PR. Public relations is about people. It's about communities. It's about individuals. So you must learn to relate with people. That's very important. Learn how to network. For a long time, I said, "Oh, I don't need network. My job will put me out." Learn how to network. You need to network. You need to be engaging with people. You need to collaborate. So you must learn how to network. I've talked about continuous learning, and I cannot overemphasize it. Be true. That is very, very important. Be true, be authentic, and be resilient. So sometimes you can do the craziest things in the world. You can have the freakest of accidents in the world, but be consistent. Remind yourself who you are. Go back to the drawing board. Look at the tactics again. See, PR is a science because there are tactics that you can practice. As you apply it every time, it gives you the same results in the different contexts, right? So know the tactics. Know how to evaluate, assess your work, evaluate your work, be continuously criticizing your own self and doing better every day. That is something that you need to do. And what does it take to get where I am today as a PR practitioner? One, remember that it takes time. It will not happen overnight, but it also takes passion. It also takes interest and passion. So I'm passionate about this. I mean, don't tell my boss this, but I mean, even if I were not paid, I would be a PR person. But don't tell my boss. I like the payment as well. So I know this is what I want to do. I know this is what I'm doing, and I am going to do it no matter the challenges, no matter what the industry is like. I'm going to contribute to building this industry. So these are the things that I will tell you as a young person who wants to be a public relations practitioner. And one thing that we do not pay enough attention to, get a mentor. Sometimes your mentor is remote. The person doesn't even know they're mentoring you, but you're following, you're listening, you're watching what the person is doing and how the person is doing and learning from it. Better still, if you have a mentor that you can go to and ask questions and seek their advice. And what I find with young people, some young people, some are so wonderful young people, but some are a bit impatient. So they start a mentoring a journey, and then they abandon it halfway. It takes time. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes passion. It takes understanding to build a career in public relations. But trust me, it's one of the best things that you can do. You know, when all is said and done in the world, at the end of the day, people must sit at the table and they must talk. People must sit at the table and they must understand each other. And that is where public affairs comes into the profession, public relations, diplomacy, advocacy, all that comes into what we do as PR people. Because at the end of the day, after all is said and done, after all the dancing around, after all the show is done, you will come back to the table and you must understand each other and you must learn to work together to build any form of progress for development.
That was a lot of nuggets. Yes, and young people, we must be patient because yes, I see that the number of years of experience you have with different industries. Nowadays people just stay in a company for a very short time. Because there's a saying that if you want to make more money, you can jump jobs. So when you jump jobs, your salary increases over time. So nowadays, people are really patient. They just want to make the money. So again, love what you do, because if you love what you do, like you said, you do it for free.
The money
So
will come though.
yeah, but the money will come. Yes,
Please don't do PR for free, for free. Don't ever.
but at the starting stage, like you said, volunteering.
Yes, you can volunteer. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
when you're
absolutely.
starting.
Yes.
So yes, thank you so much. That's all the questions we have for you. I don't know if you have any last words for us.
It's been very interesting having this conversation, and I really look forward to the feedback from everybody who is watching, and any nuggets. What do you think that we could add to this profession? Another thing I'll tell young people: join your professional organizations. I want to see more young people in the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Join it. You might say, okay, it's not cool, it's not this and it's that, but that is a representative of your profession. If you won't build it, nobody else will do it for you. So you have to come join us and help us to elevate our profession to where it needs to be. We need you. We need the reverse mentoring from you as young people as well. So do join the professional organization. I want to see you in the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. And then, let's keep building our profession and let's keep doing great things. We can work together to tell the authentic Africa story, to rebuild our reputation as Nigeria so that our economy can be better. And instead of us jackbarring, everybody will jackbar and others will come to our country. Growing up, foreigners were coming to school in Nigeria. I want to see that happen again. And we can do something about it as PR people. We can tell the stories of the great things that are happening in this country. As in other countries, Nigeria has challenges, but there are many great things working for Nigeria. And some of those great things are myself and yourself out there who were made in Nigeria, groomed in Nigeria, and we're really great people. So thank you. Thank you for listening.
Do enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.